It sounds crazy, but I just want to argue with you that maybe your best thing to do is if you expect it that it's going to be the same, it is so rarely the same. Hey there, I'm Dan Martell, serial entrepreneur, investor, and creator of SaaS Academy. In this episode, I'm going to share with you how to deal with the emotional, like the crazy emotional roller coaster of considering or exiting your business, because it can literally strain on your mind, your team, and I'm going to teach you how to deal with the team conversation. And be sure to stay over the end, where I'm going to tell you how to get access to an exclusive training called Future Living. And it's really my framework that I use to project into the future where I want to go and act today, because the identity needs to be existing today for you to achieve an outcome. And I call that future living. I'll share with you later, because I really want to address kind of 5 core areas that will show up if you're going through an exiting process to hopefully learn from my experience gone through it to avoid that pain. Let's get into it. So I remember back in the day when I was in my late 20s, I think I was 27, almost 28, when I first had the opportunity, somebody even showed an interest in potentially buying my company. And it like, what? You think this thing is valuable? You want to buy it? Really? And it was just like this incredible feeling. I mean, if you've been building a company, I mean, even if it's as little as 3 years, but most of us 5, 7, 8, 10 years, and all of a sudden you have somebody that shows up and is like, hey, have you ever thought of selling the company? And you're like, no, I haven't. I've been just building what I do. It's a lot of entrepreneurs, we just do what we do and it never occurs to us. And all of a sudden now our minds shift, because for most founders, we're always driven to create. We're always looking for the next thing. And as soon as somebody tells us or asks us if we're looking to sell, all of a sudden we're thinking about like, what's next? And it's a dangerous place to get in our mind. It can be a huge distraction. It could be detrimental to our mental state. And, having gone through it 3 times with Spheric, I exited when I was 28. Flowtown, I did when I was 31. And then Clarity, I think I was 34 years old when I exited that company, 34. Just the emotional roller coaster, the phases of the exiting process, and getting advice from my mentors, my investors. And my last 2 companies I've exited, I was venture backed. I had investors and they had their own motivations. And I'll tell you, when money starts getting, to the final levels of opportunity, elbows start getting sharp. And there's a lot of things that both the acquirer might do that's kind of wonky that you need to know about, and also your investors. And just how do you compartmentalize this so that mentally you can deal with the increased emotional support? Because it could be for you, maybe, I know it was for me with Spheric, that was my identity. Building that company, being the CEO of that company was who I was. So I want to share with you 5 different areas of thinking that's going to help you deal with that crazy emotional roller coaster to get you an incredible exit, or what I call the perfect exit. So let's get into it. Number 1, keep it private. I will tell you from experience, if you have a team, and I know if you're like me, I'm a very, I wear my heart on my sleeves. I share people what I'm doing in real time. I get excited about stuff. But when it comes to exiting a business, even selling 51%, selling a controlling interest in your business, unless the transaction is done or you need certain people involved in that process, obviously your lawyers and your accountants and stuff, maybe your executive leadership team, for the most part, you don't want to inform anybody that doesn't need to be informed. Why? Huge distraction. Literally, it could be, people start counting their money even before, and you'll do the same thing. Maybe they start thinking about what's possible. And if for whatever reason you go down this path and it falls apart, trust me, then what? Then now you got to explain to them why, they didn't see it as valuable as we thought it was, so we're just going to keep building. It's just a huge distraction. It's a different mindset of where they should be focusing. And the truth is you need to make sure that nothing changes in the business anyways, but just make sure that you try to keep it to yourself and only disclose it to people that need to be aware. So that'll help on the mental strain right off the bat. Number 2, escalation ladders. So one of the things about exiting a company that's gonna, impact your emotional feeling behind it is if you have enough offers from other people. And if you're at the size where kind of like 30 million plus, you want to work with an M&A banker on the sell side, you want to get somebody involved in helping you with the process, totally do that, and it's important. But the escalation process is the idea of, how do I reach out to a potential buyer, right? My thing is I start early. I start literally, like, when I start a company personally, and what I coach my clients on is, you should have the list of the 21 companies that should buy your business. And over the next 3 to 5 years, your job is to build relationships with those 21 people. Not 21 companies, 21 people, because there's 7 companies and 3 people inside of each one of those companies. I'm not going to get into those 3 people, but that escalation is really like reaching out, sharing your origin story, getting advice from them on your situation, and really like sharing with them everything you learn, keeping them in the loop. And then if you're in process, informing them that you're in process to exit, right? Or somebody, you had an inbound request, somebody made you think twice about remaining independent, would be some language you could use in an email. And then trying to create a competitive process. But that's the escalation process, from reaching out, asking good questions about their origin story, what they've learned, share what you've learned as a thought leader. Don't give away your secret sauce. Keep them in the loop. Maybe you have some press releases, some product releases, some good news about the business over time. That's why I do it over a period of years. And then when you're in process, you could reach out to them and see if they want to participate in that conversation. Number 3, in process. So in process means that you're looking to exit, okay? So when you're in process, that means you're just trying to generate demand. You have those relationships, you hire a banker, and you're trying to create a competitive process. The key at this stage to reduce the emotional strain, okay, because it will be, is don't stall out. So many entrepreneurs at that stage take their eye off of the ball of the business. And what happens is, a business that was growing 25, 30% a year, all of a sudden stalls out. And there's 3 months or a quarter worth of like 10% growth compounded in that quarter, where before you were a lot higher. That is a dangerous place to get to, because when you're going through the process, yeah, it's great what you've done before, but what are you doing right now? What's your strategy? Keep doing that. And if for whatever reason you stall out on that growth, then potential buyers might decide or might think that you kind of amplified or pumped up the momentum. So many times I see people like, we're growing at X%. It's like, yeah, but you're spending more money than you're making from your customers, so you're buying revenue, right? But if you have a profitable business, the key is you got to keep the team. That's why you don't want to disclose to too many people, is you want to keep the eye on the prize and don't stall out as you're growing and going through that process. Number 4, the red zone. The red zone, I call it this because this is the part where you've got an LOI, letter of intent, signed, and you're going through due diligence to close, okay? A few strategies that are going to help with the mental thing. 1, make sure your lawyer and your team is like part of your, like, in your corner. They're going to bat for you. They over communicate. You contact them on a daily, well, not daily, but often enough to be in the loop of what's going on. My big thing is no new information, no big launches, no big partnership announcements, nothing. And coach your team. I've seen so many deals fall apart because when they're in this red zone, they don't coach their team to interview properly. If somebody's going to buy you and your business, they're going to want to know, who are these people we're buying that comes along with this acquisition? And if somebody says something, this happened to me. I was an investor in a company, and one of the CTO of the company said, I'm looking to go and leave in 6 months anyway, so this is perfect timing. Well, guess what? If the acquirer deemed that person as a critical person to follow along and have an earn out and be part of, that succession, and they've already communicated they're not sticking around, that it literally cut the whole deal down because the valuation was lower than what was going to be acceptable to the leadership team. So make sure, red zone, sign the LOI and just get the deal done, push it forward, and just be diligent. Again, don't stall out, don't get distracted. All those things have to be true, but I just want to give you this information so you can be aware of it so it doesn't come as a surprise. Number 5, investing in peace. When I sold my company, Flowtown, I was really excited about the acquirer. We showed up guns a-blazing, team was ready. We moved the offices. We were pumped to integrate our technology in their platform, and it was awesome for about 2 weeks. And then we realized that we were now just a cog in a bigger machine. And I get it, running big companies myself. I get that, like, you can't. There's a process for communicating, quarterly planning, and strategic planning, but it really waned on me because for most of my career, I was part of startups and we moved really fast and we made decisions. All of a sudden, I didn't have the ability. And I called my buddy Brian and I just asked him, I said, man, after he sold his company to MySpace. And I said, how did you deal with that? And he said, dude, you just got to vest in peace. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, go in your calendar, block it out, block out your calendar. Nobody can book meetings with you and nobody will bug you. Just still go into the office. They'll see you there. They'll think you're working. But I mean, it sounds crazy, but I just want to argue with you that maybe your best thing to do is if you expect it that it's going to be the same, it is so rarely the same. Like, I don't think I've ever met a founder after the acquisition that said that was better than pre getting acquired. So knowing that, try to reduce the amount of waves that you create in the acquiring company, because I was horrible at it. Try to reduce the amount of friction that comes onto you by being invited to stuff that you may not want to be participating in. Don't put your hand up to run projects if you really don't want to do it because you're like an eager beaver and you want to show them that you're capable and you want to like justify the acquisition costs. Literally, just make sure the integration goes smooth, stay out of the politics, invest in peace. So quick recap, 5 strategies to help you with the emotional roller coaster of going through an exit. Number 1, keep it private. Only disclose it with the people that need to know. Escalation ladder so that you can create enough demand so that it feels like you're going through a competitive process. When you're in process, that's number 3, don't stall out. Number 4, when you're in the red zone, be sure to not introduce new information, and then vest in peace because it will not be the same. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, I want to share with you an exclusive, incredibly powerful training called Future Living. I taught this at one of my early workshops. It's a framework that helps people understand where they're at now, where they want to be in 6 months, and speak that future into existence. It's incredibly powerful. It's how I run my life because I like to live into the future. It helps me communicate my vision, but you can click the link below to get access to that training. It will absolutely help you serve, especially if you're going through an exit. You want to future live that process and how amazing it's going to be, even though I told you it may not be as great as you think it is, but that's okay. Let's get the deal done. Click the link below to get access to that. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe to my channel, smash the like button, and share it with somebody that you care about, that you think it could serve. And as per usual, I want to challenge you to live a bigger life and a bigger business, and I'll see you next Monday.